Hey everybody, JJ here, back for another Saturday of Zoom networking. And boy, I today's guest speaker is awesome. I love this guy. One of the big things we talk about in real estate are the people we surround ourselves with. And one of the things I heard on really early in my real estate education journey was that any group you belong to, the education is great, the coaching is great, the curriculum is great, but the real goal, the real value of what you take away from any program are the people. And if you're not networking, you're not making relationships, you're robbing yourself of the opportunity that comes with networking. And on occasion, if you're networking with intention and looking to meet successful people, you may find some of them are kind and nice and wonderful people. And one day you'll be honored and privileged enough to meet somebody like our guest speaker today, my good friend Indar Lange. Indar, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. So excited to be here and speak and to share my story and to help others. I mean, that's what I'm here for. And it's always nice to be in a great group of people. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, bro, I think you're the greatest guy. We met, I think about 3 years ago in Vegas,
Yeah, it was a while ago. Yeah.
the Ignite event for Fortune Builders. And I saw you on stage. There's 5,000 people out there, everybody. 5,000 people at this event. And they pulled him on stage. And then through the course of the weekend, I got to see him in the hall. I got to go meet this guy. And, to my surprise, because I didn't know him beforehand, Indar is just one of the most nicest, genuine, kindest people I've ever met. And, you know, that's what impresses me most about you. And then, of course, about a year after that, about 2 years ago, you were in LA, right at
Mhm.
COVID. It's right when COVID
Yes,
COVID kicked.
right before COVID, and we got to hang out and did
Yeah,
some
you were in
podcasts
Los
at your house.
Angeles,
Yep.
and we did one of the videos for my YouTube channel, and we got to go to dinner at my favorite restaurant right by Universal Studios and Warner Brothers. And can't wait to get you back there or other places when you return. Hey, so let me ask. I know where you're from, but for those that don't know you, where in the country are you located?
I live in beautiful Hawaii, and that's why I'm sitting out here in my backyard. It's, I don't know, 80 degrees or something, and just we have beautiful weather, so might as well enjoy it always.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're a success story, and you have one of the best stories I've ever heard. Um, you're raised in Hawaii, born in Hawaii.
Yeah, born and raised in a beautiful Hawaii. Yeah.
Well, now, there's a number of islands. Have you always lived on the same island?
I'm from the Big Island, so I was born actually on a pot farm in Hilo. My parents moved to Hawaii to grow pot in the 60s and 70s. That's what you did back then. So I was born on a pot farm actually, and so I come from humble beginnings, and different type of beginnings.
Now, are you on the Big Island? Is not the main island. The main island is Oahu, correct?
Yeah, the Big Island is it's the smaller. It's a big island but smaller island, and yeah, I'm on Oahu now. It's where I live and it's where most of the businesses, jobs are, people are. About 1.2 million people.
Is that where their international airport is? It's on Oahu.
Yeah, yeah. There's an
People
international
fly to
airport.
Hawaii, they fly to Oahu first. Is that what it is?
Most of the time, yeah. Most of the time, depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, growing up in Hawaii, I imagine you were probably surfing at one point in time, right?
Oh yeah, my brother was sponsored. He tried to go pro. I surf a lot and I paddle between islands. I've done 39 Molokai crossings between two islands. I'm addicted
Wow.
to anything I do. I just go all in. So I was really into paddling, 2 a days, trying to be the best. And I did all in paddling. Before that, I was into the gym and whatever I do, I just go all out. And real estate, we've been doing real estate now for 10 years, and I just go all out. I don't know when to quit or when to not. I just dive on, head in, and go for it. And
Well, you've established yourself beyond any imagine that I might have had. You're like the biggest name in Hawaii. I know that for a fact.
yeah.
Um, so growing up in Hawaii as a teenager and getting into your 20s, was the real estate industry something that was around you, or were you doing some kind of line of work in your 20s? I know you're married now.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
No, I wasn't. No, I was partying in my 20s. I was enjoying life. Um, I, I I got in trouble a lot. Went to jail a couple of times for DUIs, doing dumb stuff as a kid. Uh, at Later on, I got an electrical engineering degree. I started realizing that I needed to do something successful. Engineering is a great degree, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't enough in life. It tops off at about 200,000, maybe, give or take. But I wanted more in life. I wanted to have the $1 million. I'm very intentional. I do a lot of goal setting. I do a lot of vision board stuff. I love The Secret, the movie. So I wanted more in life. I wanted $1 million. I wanted to make $1 million. And that wasn't going to get me there. The W-2 job.
Mhm.
I seen the sky, I seen the limit, and I knew real estate had to be a part of my life. Whether I didn't know what it was, I just knew I had to be in real estate. I needed to be around it.
So at
And
what point did you get into? Did I imagine you went to college to get your engineering background?
yep, I got a business degree as well as an electrical engineering degree. And
So was
then,
that in your 20s, or did you go right into college right out of high school, or
yeah,
what was that
26,
path?
26, I graduated college and started working for an engineering company. Later on, my dad has a construction company. I left the engineering company, started running, help. I didn't run at first, but I worked for my dad's construction company, built my way up there, helped run that company. So I have a construction background, contractor's license as well. So
Okay.
I love construction and I love all that side of it. So it just kind of was perfect combination of, stepping stones, I guess, to where I'm at
So
today.
you got out of college, mid 20s, got into engineering.
Mhm.
Uh, at what point in time did you make the transition into real estate? Were you already married at that point in time?
No, my wife, girlfriend at the time, she was the biggest help or inspiration. She's seen that drive and knew I wanted more. Knew I wanted to do more in life, and she helped push me along. Signed up for Fortune Builders at 2015. 2013 is when I actually started real estate journey. Bought my first deal, and then 15 is when we signed up for Fortune Builders, and just I've been continue to sign up for education programs. I love to grow. I love the first year, 2013, we did one flip. The next year after, two, three, four, five. It's a slow process for me. I've been doing it 10 years. We've done 120 fix and flips now, but it's not an overnight. Like I just did 120. I
Yeah.
did a few and a few more and a few more. And I don't want to say I'm an overnight success by far.
So as you got into real estate and then you became an investor, um, there's all different types of paths. There's single family, there's multifamily, there's commercial. Uh,
Yes.
what has become your path? And was that something that you saw laid out from the beginning, or did you kind of find your way? You started
That's
with
a really,
your first was a single family home, was a flip.
yeah.
What was your
Well,
progression from the beginning as you kind of really established yourself?
that's a really good question because the journey does change for me. It's changed so much.
Mm.
Um, I got into my first. I have no money when I started. I have no money, so I wholesaled a deal and made 10 grand. So that 10 grand helped me play. I also went and bought my primary residence and put 1,000 down, so that helped me. Sold that in 2 years. I made 90 grand off of that. So it was a slow process, and then I got into flipping. Kind of naturally fell into my wheelhouse of what I like to do. I like construction. So I got into the flipping side of it all, trying to wholesale, but flipping was in my wheelhouse. And I made a big mistake early on. I was so focused on flipping that I just wanted money now. We flip a house, we make 100 grand, give or take profit on a deal. And I like that money now. I like it now. And I never did keep rentals. And I kicked myself in the butt because there's so many great projects that would have been great rentals. And I've only started accumulating my rentals 4 or 5 years now. We have 156 doors to date. I own shopping centers and commercial, multifamily, whatever. Um, but I would have had more if I, thought about it sooner. I was just so focused in the, I want money now, instead of 100 grand or make, $500 a month. Like I didn't know the difference. And
Yeah.
now I realize it's so much better actually on rentals. But
So I mean, so you've got over 100 doors now to your portfolio. Um, That's phenomenal. I want to get there one day myself. Um, as you've made this journey, and I've mentioned many times you're one of the premier, most visible, successful people in Hawaii, which is definitely due a world of respect to you. You've accomplished quite a bit. I know your family, parents, grandparents, friends are all very, very proud of you. Um, as you've made this journey, is there one or two people that stood out maybe as mentors that either led you or showed you the way or were examples for you?
Yes.
Or tell
Oh,
us, tell us about that.
100%. Early on, when I first started flipping, I remember doing my second or third flip ever, and there was a lot of naysayers. And there was a lot of people saying, I was doing this project and it was bad. It was like termites. We'd fall through the floors. It was held up by these metal studs. And the normal people, like including my, close friends, people who didn't have money, said, "Don't do that. It's a horrible idea. Don't flip houses. What are you doing?" But I had some millionaire mentor friends. I had two of them, and this one millionaire mentor friend of mine, I took to heart, and I learned a lot by only listening to him. So I stopped listening to anyone who had equal to or less than me. And I only listened to somebody who has more than me. And that was a huge learning lesson for me. And he taught me this. He's, hey, you either do this project and you make 60,000 or don't do it and make nothing. And that mindset is always stuck to me with, hey, if I'll pay you 100 grand right now to figure out this project, to figure out this problem house, would you do it? And like my thinking now changes every time I think of a project that's super hard and it's challenging. If I give you 100 grand, would you figure it out? Yeah, okay, I'll figure it out. So my mindset's just always shifted to this millionaire mentor friend of mine. And 3 years now, I'm huge into networking, like JJ is, and I pay for some very high level groups. I pay a lot, actually, some groups I'm in, just for the networking, just to be around like-minded people. I'm friends with Brandon Turner and in his private network group. And we were literally sitting at dinner the other night, and these guys are asking, what's your goals for this quarter? How are you going to get there? It was really like cool to be around these people. What can I do to help you? These are all millionaire people, and I surround myself with them, and they're just a wealth of like knowledge and help. And you know, the networking part is huge. The people you put yourself around changes your path in life.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Um, so now as you've got into this, you're in an expensive area. I mean, Hawaii is not the least expensive place in the country. Uh, land is obviously at a high premium.
Yeah.
Um, was there a certain point when you transitioned from regular homes into the what you call the high end homes? Because that's what you do now, right? You do high end
Yeah,
homes.
I do. I do. So when I first started again, no one was scaling Hawaii. Like I was doing one or two a year, and everyone said you can't scale Hawaii. It's too expensive. Our price points are too crazy. You can't scale. That. And I just took it as just watch me. That's all I thought. Just watch me do this. And this was it. And 8 years ago, I started scaling. And now we do. You know, I don't know. I bought a 2.7. We're selling at a 4 mil. We do stuff like that all the time. I do a lot of low end stuff. Don't get me wrong. I love the cheaper stuff. We currently have 18 flips going here in Hawaii, another six across the U.S. I'm buying a multifamily in Indiana. We have a shopping center we're closing on in Wisconsin, a huge, it's pretty cool. I'm owning a shopping center with Office Max. I always think it's like kind of cool to own some of this stuff. But it's just a matter of somebody's going to do a deal and somebody's going to figure it out. And so whether it's high or low, it doesn't matter the price. The risk factor is greater in a higher end, but the profit margins, can be greater. We just got a multifamily deal under contract for 3.1, and we'll sell at 7 mil, and I'm potentially make 1.5 million. Huge, huge risk, but
Wow.
I'll go into that deal hoping the numbers all work out. So it's just bigger profits. And I used to compare myself to like Ryan Panetta and some of these guys who do 100 flips a year and they make 20 grand on a flip. I can do 20 to 30 flips a year, and make $1 million easy. So it doesn't have to be the amount of flips you do. It's just, the volume of what you make off of flip can be greater. I'd rather do one flip a year and make $1 million than do 100 of them.
Yeah, yeah, do 100 for 10,000 a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so what's the most challenging part about what you're doing as far as your high-end scaling?
I mean, raising capital is always harder. That was the hardest part early on. Learning about hard money lending, learning about different loans. You guys are in sub two, learning about the creative financing. I've done a bunch of creative financing deals. I have a Indiana. We have a shopping strip mall. Basically, we have under contract. Seller is carrying 25%, and I'll get a loan for the rest from the bank. Still, there's a lot more to that deal. There's a lot more creativity you have to do. And those type of deals. But it's just finding deals and figure out how to make them work and figuring it out. Again, that mindset of somebody's going to figure out this deal. And even when others have passed on deals, I've gotten deals and figured it out. And it's just that mentality to figure it out. There's so much different solutions to a deal, than the normal person would think. And to have multiple exit strategies, often we'll have a flip that can also be held as a great rental that we can. I have two. I have a lot of midterm rentals right now. We have a bunch of midterm rentals that were just hopefully we make money, but if we break even for a year in Waikiki, we'll sell that thing and make a killing just based upon appreciation alone. So sometimes the creativity of a deal is where others don't see, and even the seller, for example, might be open to. Even with the subject to kind of mindset, there's a lot more that you can make a deal work, differently than most people realize. And I think that's a huge success that I've had. I've always figured it out. I have a huge team and I have a company and a staff, and that's our model, our company model is to figure it out. Figure it out on your own because everyone's capable of.
So you had started this basically by yourself, and
Mhm.
your girlfriend was with you. She's now your wife. I mean, and you just now mentioned the company. How many people do you have in your company?
Seven in the office, and then I run about 3 to 4 of our flips ourselves. So I have a construction team, about 9 labor guys as well, and then we have a bunch of VAs, um, and real estate agents and all that in different states that help us with our. We have 6 mainland flips going through.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about VAs. I'm dealing with VAs myself right now, or beginning to help with some of my workload. At what point in time did you implement VAs, and do you use them differently now than maybe you did in the beginning?
That was my first hire early on, and it was such a game changer, just to hire a VA just with the little easy stuff. Um, with all the paperwork when you buy a house. I had a Filipino girl, and she just helped me so much with some of the not easy stuff, but all that mundane stuff, paperwork. Um, Now I'm very specific. I have VAs for certain little tasks. We have a VA that strictly underwrites our deals. All he does is analyze deals, and then my sales guys can just make offers. So my sales guy is not bogged down with that. Um, Early on, I hired a VA just as an admin role, just to help me, with anything I needed. Fill out this application or fill out this document, or you know, just hiring a VA to help is just a huge game changer. And you know what? I felt bad at first about. I think I had an Indian VA one time, and I felt bad at paying them $4 an hour. But $4 US dollars, they're like 100, 200,000 in India. So it's don't feel bad, what you're paying them. We have a few VAs that are straight $200 a week, and in the Philippines, and that's a lot of money in the Philippines. So don't feel bad. What you're paying
Yeah,
them.
one of the things I'm looking at using a VA is, giving them access to my Facebook login, or giving them access to the cloud for my contacts. I mean, is there any apprehension that, I mean, is it someone's not done it before? I'm like, oh my gosh, I mean, they give them these logins. I mean, did you have that same kind of feeling in the beginning when you started to use VAs?
Yeah, yeah, of course, with some of them. It's hard with Instagram, Facebook, and those things because you don't want your account to get in trouble is one. They click on that kind of stuff, and two, we have a VA that posts for us. I actually use Brandon Turner's VA that's posting for us on our social media, as well as I have an in-house girl. So just getting over the hump, but it's an easy hump to get over once they get in the flow of things. I have a friend that his VA, all they do is go on to Facebook and comment and message people, and like all she does is message people all day long on Facebook, and I think that would be useful, something to try for you. Just comment and talk to people all day.
Yeah, obviously I've utilized social media, Facebook and now Instagram, and really looking forward to getting a VA to take a lot of that off my plate so I can focus on other aspects. Um, Now, acquisitions. How do you go about acquisitions with is this yourself? You have an acquisition team as an acquisitions manager. Now, with the acquisitions, let's say your first year you did one home, but say how many properties did you move last year? Just out of the curious as far as the scaling growth.
About 30 flips last year, and then I
30.
bought a ton of rentals. We really scaled our rental to just buying a lot of rentals.
So how do you
Uh,
handle those acquisitions? I mean, does your team have an acquisitions manager? Do you use VAs?
I just have a secretary, and she's helping with a lot of the paperwork for the lenders. Hard money is really pretty easy. Um, More than I have. So right now we have a sales guy in the office. So he's calling all day long, calling agents. 80% of our leads come from agents. So anyone out there you don't want to spend no money, start calling agents. Free, cost you nothing. Develop relationship with agents. So people who are looking for deals, call some agents. They're gonna they're gonna go do the marketing. They're gonna do cold calling. They're gonna go find some deals for you. So let them spend their money. So free resource right there. Um, and then we call about 20% we call off the market deals. So he's just calling. His goal is for 100 FUs a day, 100 just a conversation, just as long as he's talking to 100 people a day. And he also helps with, he shouldn't, but he helps just start the conversations with our investors to raise capital for bigger deals. And then he has a VA that supports him with and so forth. I have a girl in the office. She is kind of like my admin girl. We have a bookkeeper and then I have a COO. So the COO and the admin girl really help close deals, kind of like TCs, transaction coordinators. So they help closing the deals. The one thing that I have to do is still be involved in a lot of closing, talking to lenders and banks, pushing commercial world, and it's talking to investors. So it's my one main thing. I haven't been able to get out of that, but as you're talking about the acquisition side,
Well,
it's
and that just makes perfect sense because, one of the things that I learned early on, one of the things Than would say is that we are our business. We don't market our business, we market ourselves, and your name
yes,
is very well known. So people want to know Indar Lange. They want to do. They're doing business not with your company, they're doing business with Indar Lange.
yes,
They're lending not to your company, they're lending to Indar Lange.
yeah,
So people want to have that same connection, just like people want to meet Brandon Turner, they want to meet Indar Lange.
yeah. Relationships and who you are. I tried that early on with Facebook and Instagram. Tried to brand my company and try to promote that. I got nowhere with that. I feel in real estate, it's a relationship. It's a personality. You're selling, is for lack of a better word. But that's yeah. It's all about your relationship, your integrity, and who you are in this business. And it goes a long way when you have good integrity and people recognize that.
Indar, you're talking about funding and private money and getting that together. Um, I imagine when you establish a relationship with a private money lender, I would ideally imagine that one would hope that they become lenders for a very, very long time and keep coming back to do business.
Yes, yes.
Or are they? Is there some turnover in that? Or
No,
tell us how that works a little bit with the private money lenders.
we our private money, our people that invest with us, we call them partners most of the time. We always are very creative and make it a win-win. I normally pay more than everybody else because I want people to stay with me for a long period of time. I throw in other incentives where they can make more money. I recognize early on that the the volume of giving up some of your, people would only pay 8 to 10, interest rates. I would pay more, a lot more. And it kept people to invest with me longer. I recognize that I want to be doing business with people in long term instead of trying to make a little now. I'd rather make a lot over time.
Yeah.
That's how most people have everyone's stuck with me for years. Um, and that's how I think it's important to have that relationship and make it always a win-win. Give more than than others do. And it's really important. And investors that work with me, they're like my best friends. There's some of them I bring them on my flips and show them how to flip. Another guy, his son was interested in flipping, and I brought him into the office. One of my investors just comes to my office once a week, and she like picks my brain. I'm like, as long as you're investing with me, you took your hard-earned cash, and you're like working with me, I will give you my time, my anything. We'll go to lunch, whatever. So somebody who's taken their time and energy, give it me, like I will bend over backwards to be, just the best I can possibly be for that.
Yeah, and as you say, we're building lifetime relationships and not just a one and done. Ashley, you are on with Indar Lange. What's your question?
Hey, Indar, thanks for all the information you've been sharing. Listening to you talk about something that you would do differently about buying homes and holding them to rent. I know you mentioned that you did that, started doing that a few years ago, but other than that, what type of advice would you give yourself when you first started, or to anybody that's just starting? What would you do differently than you did when you first started, looking back?
I mean, it's cliche and you probably hear it a lot, but the action taking was always my weakness. I was so stuck in the weeds of worrying about my company logo and the phone number and a jingle, and I spent a lot of money on some wasted time and energy really there. And just I would just take more action at the beginning and stumble forward. You know what I mean? I would just dive more into, hey, this guy had a deal and he wanted to partner with me, but I was scared. I would have just did it. So the action's part of it all. Because early on, I was juggling a full-time job like most people are, and trying to do both. And I think I would have just stumbled forward and did more than I possibly can. And that's kind of where I'm at today too. I'm always wishing I would take more action and do more, because we are all capable of doing more. Are we at home at night watching a Netflix show, or are we going to spend that extra hour looking at deals, educating ourselves, or just that little extra hour or whatever it may be? Is just the difference, I think, in people. I think that's the underlining thing. You do have that little bit more time. You can spend 30 minutes in I did that early on. I was working a full-time job, and I was in Fortune Builders. I would watch my videos at all night long and just trying to educate myself and grow. And so if you get that little feeling under your belly button, that gut feeling about a deal, about whatever it may be, investing, a rental, go for it. If that gut feeling, that's God to me talking to you. Says it feels good, sounds right, do it. And then numbers work. It's all numbers. Do it. The hardest part is to do it. The hardest part of everything. You 99.9% you can know exactly what to do, but doing it is the biggest, scariest part.
Great tip. Great tip. Ashley, did that cover that for you? Great.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned, just do it, stop sitting in the weeds on things, and I think I am a little bit stuck in that. Okay, what is my business name going to be, and do I need to get my Instagram going before I start doing this, and what do I need to do to prep myself? And meanwhile, I'm just wasting time, really, when I could be focusing that time and energy and money on maybe the next flip or the next short-term rental. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, just
I'll pull myself out of the weeds.
Analyzing deals and putting offers. Coolest thing about real estate compared to like anything else, like stock. You go buy a stock, you have to buy that stock once you commit it. And in real estate, like we can put an offer in and they can accept it. You still got an inspection period. You still got a time to get out of that deal. So that's like the coolest part of real estate is you still have like leeway to screw up. You can put an offer in. Oh shoot, I was wrong on my numbers. I need to get a credit, or I just cancel the deal. I have 2 deals right now I didn't even want, and I just got accepted, and I'll figure it out now. So I just throw an offer in and figure it out later. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Ashley, thank you for joining us today. Cynthia Ware, you are on with Indar Lange. What's your question?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
I think
JJ, for the platform. We love it. We love it. Okay, so I am really appreciating some of your comments that you've made to JJ and to Ashley about, one of the hardest things to do. What would you change that you do different? Okay, so then I think almost not everybody on here, but a lot of us on here was introverts. We're selective extroverts, and we're trying to figure out how to do this. And we many times we're getting pushed out of our box, to grow. And so I'm networking had been a struggle, and I noticed that locally when I come in to try to increase my networking, once I found the team, I kind of got lost. I had to let go some on the computer because it was almost like a job. I was spending 6-8 hours. It took 45 minutes to get there by car and 45 minutes to get back. But once I'm in, okay, I'm now doing the thing, figuring it out. Okay, I've interacted with 1, 2, 3, 4. The market is changing. 4 private lenders. Yes, they're in. I'm improving how to make my presentation to them. Challenge with the computer. What do you suggest in making that relationship, sincere relationship with private lenders on your deals?
That's a great question. So I'm an introvert just like you, actually. I hate, when you go to a network meeting, you have to get up and you're supposed to be talking to people and they're in their little circle. So I have that same feeling like you, just so you know. I think that's what makes most good investors are all introverts. But so the private lenders are just human like us. They're just normal people just like us. And so I normally just treat it like a real human to human relationship, like a friendship. I'll talk story, we'll go to lunch. I want to, as much as I can, add value to them and how, we can give them value. And it's the same type of relationship both ways, and I want them to realize that, I am, and I let myself know I'm providing them a great opportunity with a great return. Real estate's obviously a great asset, safe kind of class compared to some of the other stuff. So I also believe deeply in what we do, and I believe deeply in every deal that I do. So I have that underlining belief in the deal that I think that emulates into that relationship. Like I don't question, I'm not going to deal a deal that I don't think is bad. So
yeah,
I have that, and I think that emulates into the people I do, work with as well. Because I treat it like my money, no matter what. And it's happened. On my third flip ever, I've lost 80 grand, and all my investors got paid back, and they all made their profits and contracted everybody. And I sucked it up, and I moved on. That was 8 years ago, and I think that's holds so true to my values today. Like no matter what, investors are the key to making them happy, making them, that relationship. So, yeah.
Nice. I like that. I treat it like my money, because in my
always.
career, working in my past industry, that is one of the things that the nurses said to me. You treat the patient as if they were your mother, your brother, your sister, your father. Very, very extra. Whereas my colleagues, they came in the room, did a job. They did a job. They didn't give part of their heart. Special.
Yeah, that's so powerful. You sound like a great nurse. I want to be in your house.
Yeah, that was
It's
good.
so true. It's so
Thank
true.
you. Thank
So
you.
it is your money. I mean, your livelihood at stake. I think a huge value. I grew up here in Hawaii, so your name, the aloha spirit, all that emulates. You know, if God forbid that a deal that went south for me 10 years ago, I didn't pay investors back. You're screwed. You're not going to be able to work in this business for years to come. So I think that also emulates into who you are. That having that aloha spirit towards people, as you're saying, the love, um, and to recognizing your name is everything in business. So you always want to practice good everything, integrity in relationships.
And you're on a beautiful place to live, beautiful family. Life is great for you. But this didn't happen overnight. You had to work really hard to make this happen. And along the way, you built relationships and you just established your credibility. For those that are looking to follow your path, do you have any tips or tricks that you might want to share? Things that people might be able to implement for either the newcomer or the established investor, that things that you might want to share with the group?
Yeah, so I have some ninja tricks I always like to share, and it's just stuff I found out along the way that's helped me. Um, I basically have a list in my head. It's network, 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 as JJ keeps preaching to everybody. Your network is your net worth. Of course, all that really comes into play, from deals to relationships to investors. Just talking about it in general really helps grow. When we sell a house, there's a couple more tricks. When we sell a house, we give $100 a credit a day for any day that buyer could close on that deal. So we have a holding cost, right? We pay $300 a day out of holding cost, for example. If I give that credit $100 a day, I'm saving money for that seller to close the house sooner. That's a great act to save you money and to help them make money as well. So it's a win-win. Um, when we finish a high-end project, like a million plus deal, we'll pay for a home inspection from a home inspector, $300-400, and I'll go give that inspection to my contractor. That here's your final punch list. Make sure you cover all these little things, because when you sell $1 million plus house, normally that dude is pretty a savvy guy, that because he's hoarding $1 million house, so he's gonna find a credit and try and get you something, or find a mistake that you missed. And it just saves you money technically, because you wouldn't have to give that credit away that you may have found, And I'm not crawling into attics. I don't have a heat gun out and looking for, the water leaks. So it's worth it to pay that home inspector and give that to my contractors. Be a professional money finder and constantly just talk to random people. What you do is a huge thing. In an elevator, for example, I'll talk to people. Hey, I do this and love you to be a part of our deal. So just constantly talking to people and let them know what I do. So I'm constantly letting people know what I do, and let them know, who we are and what we're trying to do. Because, this is networking. That is networking. Yeah, that's a huge part of it all. Um, I like to be good at a lot of traits, because in the construction world, you often get scammed. One time we had a plumber trying to give me a $10,000 price to just sweat a few pipes. I've done plumbing myself a little bit, and I know how to sweat pipe and some stuff like that. So knowing a little bit of every trait goes a long way. Often I'll get 3 bids on any job, and what I'll do is that first contractor walk through, he may have some great ideas on how to move a room or change stuff out, or he may have, like a set of few key words, and those words I'll use to the next contractor. What about this or that? So getting multiple bids is not just for multiple bids. It's for having multiple ideas, multiple lingo, multiple ways. It really goes a long way to get a lot of different bids on a job. So that can be a huge thing. And then, what is your time valued at? This was a big one for me. because often at the very beginning, I was doing everything. I was going to eat Home Depot 5 times a day. I was, answering the phones, and I was helping in the yard. I was cutting wood and doing tile, and I was trying to do everything. Um, but what's your time valued at? Is it? I really love doing the yard. You can see I have a beautiful yard, and I pay my guys, 15, $20 an hour, yard guys to do yards. Is my time valued at $15 an hour? Is that what my time is really? Because I think I'm saving money, right? I think I'm like saving my money on the job by me going to Home Depot or me doing the yard. Really, what's my time valued at? And if you want to be a millionaire, your time should be valued at about $500 an hour. So is that a good time use of my time? No, it's to be finding deals, to analyzing deals, to finding money, and so forth. So what is my time really, really valued? I constantly think of that today. Is this a good use of my time and so forth? And it's really important to recognize that, because you can be hiring a VA to be doing some of these things that others can be doing.
Those are great. Those are fantastic. And obviously, networking, I talk about all the time. And, you and I coming out of the same program, one of the comments that we both heard early on is your network is your net worth. And to get out and constantly meet people. No, your tips are fantastic. I've got two things to ask before we kind of cut things loose here. If people want to get in touch with you, maybe they have questions or they want to invest with you. People are going to be watching this on YouTube as well as those that are with us live. What's the best way for people to reach out to you? Is it a website? Is it your Instagram, MySpace, TikTok?
Indar Hawaii on Instagram, TikTok, everything. Or I have my webpage is indarhawaii.com. Message me on the apps and ask questions, because I really enjoy helping people. And when I started, there was no one for me to look up. There was no mentors. There was no one in Hawaii, I should say. And so I take that to heart, that I'd love to be able to give back, because there's abundance, man. There's enough for all of us to be successful in life. There's enough for everyone to have in life. And even if you can do one flip a year and make an extra 100 grand, who wouldn't want that? So I think there's enough for everybody. And don't be scared to ask, because I was always scared to ask questions myself, because I always felt like it was a stupid question. But there's no stupid questions. Real estate's its own language. I'm in commercial now, doing a lot of commercial deals, and commercials, it's a whole other new language. And I'm scared to ask. I asked an escrow somebody the other day, what's this acronym? They give weird acronyms. It was a made up acronym, but everyone likes to do these weird acronyms sometimes. And so don't be scared to ask. There's no question. And if you're stumbling, ask. Because I think that's one of the hardest parts in the business sometimes, is there's no one to ask. There's no one to figure it out with you. Because some of the decisions you're making are next level stuff that your normal friends and family, couldn't comprehend, or you don't have that people to ask. So ask any successful person. They'll love to help you and take their time, because we were all there at one time.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring things out myself every day. So
if you guys are on the call right now and you want to connect with Indar, again, it's his Instagram.
INDAR Hawaii HAW.
There you go, or his website. And then feel free to reach out to me and I can connect you with Indar. If you're on the call right now, you guys know how to reach me. Last question before we head to the breakout rooms. I'm sure people love to get in the breakout room with you. My group is a networking group, and you've talked about it, the couple of things I'm going to ask you right now. But whether one is a brand new student to real estate investment, or they're an experienced investor coming to real estate investment in the platform of social media, all these investment groups have a Facebook page for their community. Whether one is a new investor or an experienced investor that's new to social media, what is the importance of maybe joining a group like mine or using social media to market their business?
I mean, you have to nowadays. You have to. I wish I've started mine even sooner. You have to. It's just Instagram it's treated like a business. Treat it like I don't post pictures of my kids too much, once in a while, but treat it like a business. Treat Facebook like a business. This is our society, our world's at that. this point, and you have to do it. You know, as much as I don't want to do it, and it's hard because you're focused on your deal, finding deals, and building your business. That you have to do this weird other thing of making a TikTok or making a story about your day. You know, but you have to just get out there and do it. And it's probably the hardest part sometimes for me, doing both of it, doing social media too.
Yeah, social media's been it was challenging for me in the beginning. People think it's been easy for me. Just I was a guy that was shy and stuttered, and I was happy to be in the corner, quiet, left alone. But I realized my business wasn't going to grow
Yeah,
unless I got out there and started to meet other people, and been blessed to become friends with you and get to know you. And I can't wait to get out to Hawaii and
yes, I gotta
get
take you
out
to
there.
dinner at the Outrigger. I got a private club for you to come to dinner at.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm going to see if we can make that happen this summer. Um, so we're going to jump into the breakout rooms again. Indar, I want to thank you so much for being on. You always bring so much value, and I think what really stands out is you're real, you're kind, you've got a great heart, and you're an example of just what somebody wants to be when they become a successful investor. That a lot of the pluses that come to you and your family are a result of you just being an exceptional person. So I
Yeah,
thank you
thank you.
so much for joining us today.
Thank you guys. Yes. Thank you. You guys can do it. It's not easy. You can do it.
So if you guys are watching right now on YouTube, please like Indar's video. Please put your notes in the comment section there. If you're on the call right now, do not go away. We're going to the breakout rooms. You could possibly be in a breakout room with Indar himself. And again, look for Indar Lange on his Instagram. You can find me through my website, jjzizin.com, and register for my group. There's a little pulsating register now button. And get out there, network, meet people. Your network is your net worth. If you're not visible, you're invisible. Opportunity will walk right past you. So network and network with intention. So Indar, I guess we'll just tell them aloha, right?
Hello.
Aloha, guys. Thank you so much.